Alright, how's it going? It's your man MINIMAN back at it again, staying on mission, staying on target. Let's talk about it. My mission is to wake you up, and the truth is you're already awake. And I'm working on this since this is my 20th anniversary, so it took quite a while for me to fully get this. And it's partly also because most enlightened people are not really explaining it properly. So I'm trying to do a better job here. Because it's really simple. It's much more simple than what you expect it to be. So first things first, meditation. The very concept that you gotta be a fucking idiot if you're not paying ridiculously close attention now. Because it's insane. I'm giving away this shit for free. Meditation, the very concept of what you think meditation is already the biggest problem, because it's misdirecting your consciousness into believing that you are somebody, fill in the blank, your name, that needs to meditate in order to get enlightened. That's never gonna work, period. Okay, that's never gonna happen, right? Because a somebody, your name, is never gonna be able to meditate enough or professionally or long enough or sophisticated enough to ever become consciousness, or to ever become enlightened, or to ever become whatever your concept is. That's never gonna ever happen. Even if you meditate in Tibet with the most enlightened monks, with the Dalai Lama himself. You understand this? And it can't happen because you're starting off wrong. Or because when you start off wrong, it's not solvable. You are, and I'm saying this probably a billion times by now, you are universal, immortal consciousness. Okay? When I woke up this morning, I had this realization. It came to me very clearly because I couldn't meditate anymore. It just didn't work anymore. And before I even finished kind of asking the question, how I'm supposed to meditate now, the answer was already there. And the answer was your immortal consciousness, your universal consciousness. You don't need to meditate. And then it became very clear to me, and I could see myself as a like a flat plane, okay, and like infinite field, or like a plane, like a disc, like a flat thing, okay, like a flat thing. And that's the universal consciousness. And in that flat thing, there is this so-called me, my identity, my person, my, mini-man. And that's asking the question, and the universal consciousness is like, dude, mini-man doesn't need to meditate. What's the use of that? You never become universal consciousness that way, because you already are. You're starting off wrong, and from then on you can't fix it. This is not a fixable thing from then on. You're a universal consciousness in the first place. Universal consciousness does not need to meditate. Why? Why would it do that? It already is. You understand? Consciousness doesn't need to meditate to become consciousness. It's already there. It's already conscious. And this was very clear. This was very convincing. I said, oh, of course meditation can't work. Of course, it's no surprise that it didn't work anymore. Because it's not supposed to work, and it never really truly worked ever anyway. It maybe worked when I forgot that I was somebody that is supposed to meditate. And then I kind of slipped out or transitioned into universal consciousness. And it is hard to explain this because the realization happened in milliseconds. So what I can tell you is when you wake up in the morning, direct your consciousness into saying you're a universal consciousness, because that's what you are. If you misdirect it, then you start the day off wrong, and from then on you can't fix it. You're so in the habit of directing it into being a person that you can't imagine that you're not. You're so in the habit of starting off wrong that you think there's no other way, but actually there is. And you're the one that making the decision. And then I sat down and I said, oh, well, okay, well then let's not meditate and just sit there as universal consciousness. And then it was, oh, this is really, that was easy. You know, I was just in peace, in a joyous mood, and just being there and aware. And the only thing I did was not to fall into these impulses. There were these impulses coming up of the miniman identity that wants to come out of this plane, that wants to come out of this field, these impulses like, let's start the day, we have to do this, what about this, what about these emails, what about these calls, what about these things to do, and these subtle impulses. And then I just not followed them, you know, not acted on these impulses, and just stayed in this plane, in this plane of universal consciousness. I stayed in the field, in the disc. And it was very clear. All of these problems don't exist. All of these fears don't exist. All of these bad moods don't exist. Come on, man. Come on, people. Hey, enough with the bullshit, okay? Quit being stupid. Universal consciousness doesn't have a bad day. Universal consciousness doesn't have a bad mood. Universal consciousness doesn't have any fucking mood. Hello? Is this really that difficult to understand or to explain? Universal consciousness doesn't have any fucking mood. It just is. And if you decide to be somebody that has a bad mood, that has a bad day, that has a freaking problem, that has fears, or that has challenges, well then knock your fucking selves out, because then it's you. It's you deciding you want to be somebody that has a problem, that has a bad mood, that has a bad day, that has a challenge, and that has a fear. It's you making the mistake of misidentifying with who you really are, you know? And from then on, nobody can help you anyway, you understand? You can start off right in saying, I'm universal consciousness, that's who I really am, and that never has a problem or a bad day or a bad mood. You know, it's over like this. I'm MINIMAN, GROWORDIETRYING.